Beep, 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 beep. Welcome, Court of the Digester. Coffee. Subscribe. Warrior Teacher. The usual, right? Dear God, what have we got here? Right? What have we got? Some fat bloke in a hat. Right? Who's... This is surreal. This is what we'll end up with if we're not careful, folks. Keep fighting, keep fighting. We are once again in the US of A. Oh, say, can you... Hi, Americans, how you doing? All right? Wyoming sorority members forced to admit trans-identifying male as court rejects suit. Right? This comes from Redux, okay, which do some great work in the field. Don't agree with everything they say, but they do some great work in the field. And it's by Genevieve Bloke. Hello, Genevieve. Hope you're well. A sorority at the University of Wyoming will be forced to accommodate a 6'2" trans-identified male after the state's district court rejected a suit brought by 6 of the female members. Right, okay? You can see it in the article on Redux, but there you go, right? What kind of man is this? So, this guy is in the sorority, and he's with the girls. That's what the first problem is. So, women from Kappa Gamma, which is KKG, brackets, close brackets, sued the national leadership of their sorority after expressing discomfort with the presence of Artemis Langford. Artemis Langford, that's the name, right? Okay. 6'2" bloke. Despite hearing testimony from the women, some of whom stated Langford had watched them undress with an erection. That's not particularly well written, that bit. Watch them undress with an erection. Watch them undress whilst erect. No? Why doesn't that sound right? You work out. Watch them undress with an erect. What? Right. Langford stated that he had watched whilst erect them undress. Judge Alan... Genevieve, forgive me, I'm not picking at you. Right, Judge Alan Johnson dismissed the case of Western Brook versus Kappa Kappa Gamma fraternity. On August the 25th, Johnson stated that redefining women to include males was Kappa Kappa Gamma's chameleon. Kappa Kappa Gamma's bedrock right. That redefining women to include males was Kappa Kappa Gamma's bedrock right as a private voluntary organisation, and one this court may not invade. In his decision, Johnson wrote, the University of Wyoming chapter voted to admit, and more broadly, a sorority of hundreds of thousands approved Langford, right? The university voted to admit, and more broadly, a sorority of hundreds of thousands approved Langford, the guy, right? With its inquiry beginning and ending there, the court will not define woman today. The delegate of a private voluntary organisation interpreted woman otherwise, undefined in the non-profit's bylaws, expansively. This judge may not invade Kappa Kappa Gamma's freedom of expressive association and inject the circumscribed definition plaintiffs urge. Courts are belied to say it, aren't they? While the KKG bylaws state that a new member shall be a woman, Judge Johnson found that no bylaw defined woman. So, to a certain degree, this is a mess of their own making by the Kappa Kappa Gamma chameleons, right? They come and go. 6'2" fat men, no. Judge Johnson found that no bylaw defined women. Johnson also cited a 2018 Guide for Supporting LGBTQA plus members, which states Kappa Kappa Gamma is a single gender organisation comprised of women and individuals who identify as women. Right, okay, women and men then. It's a single gender organisation comprised of women and individuals who identify as women, whose governing documents do not discriminate in membership selection except by requiring good scholarships and ethical character. If there's a bloke trying to get into a women's sorority, LARPing as a woman, that's immediately their character is suspect, right? Okay, what kind of bloke does this? Well, you've seen the picture. That kind of bloke, right? Okay. If you happen to look like this chap and you're not like him, my apologies, but I can't help it because he's just a 6'2" LARPing bloke bothering women. That's what he's doing, isn't it? Langford was admitted to Kappa Kappa Gamma chameleon last September following the results of a vote enabled by the language put forward in the sorority's inclusivity guide. We're back to inclusion again. However, not all of the women were pleased with the decision, with some alleging that they had felt pressured into accepting them against their will. Well, I wouldn't be bloody surprised by that, would you? Most of this is about pressure. Last year, one sorority member came forward to state that the women were initially promised anonymity in regard to the voting process, only to then be required to identify themselves on the online ballot form. There you go. See? This is a captured sorority. The Kappa Kappa Gamma chameleons are captured. This resulted in women feeling intimidated with voicing their concerns about a male entering the sorority. And rightly so. They should be able to voice their concerns, even if it's anonymously, because we know honest people that don't remain anonymous. You know, Kathleen Stock, everybody else that's had problems. In a meeting held to discuss Langford's potential candidacy, KKG chapter leaders, including the president and membership chair, allegedly dismissed the concerns of women who had expressed discomfort. So that was with the leaders of the Kappa, them, right? Okay. Regardless of what your political views are, our Kappa values are acceptance and kindness. Yep. Well, that's not a problem, is it? It's a problem. If your values are acceptance and kindness, then you're useless. Absolutely. It's absolutely. This be kind. Hashtag be kind. It's damaging nonsense, right? That's what it's done here. Our values are acceptance and kindness, so that if that is something that you disagree with, that's not in line with Kappa values, one member allegedly said at the time. Well, it's obviously not acceptance and kindness for the women that object to this 6'2", LARPing, hulking, lolloping galumper of a bloke, right? Invading their spaces. What's wrong with you, man? Get out! These bloody men. Ugh. Another member is reported to have said that if you vote no, it better be for issues with that new member, or else it's homophobic. It's got nothing to do with homophobia. The fact that this is a LARPing bloke, pretending to be a woman, it's got nothing to do with being gay. This is pure LGBTQA plus people, right? Not gay people. Right? So it's the cult members, not us. The source told the National Review that comments made by KKG leaders downplayed worries women had about sharing a residence with Langford. If your only concerns are about her, it's not her, it's him, living in the house, you are thinking too far down the road. And if you have something to say about this that isn't kind or respectful, keep it to yourself. Who said that? Who said that? Right? Another member, right? Well, that other member thinks he's Thumper from Bambi. Right? If you ain't got nothing nice, can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Well, that's fine when you're 4, right? It's not when you get to 16 and realise that many people are twerps and nonsense merchants and liars and con men and wicked and sexually motivated, whatever it may be, right? That isn't in Bambi, is it? If you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all, unless, of course, they're a sexually motivated twerp. No, right? If you have something to say about this that isn't kind or respectful, keep it to yourself. Don't point out the lolloping, galumphing, massive figure of the dress-wearing nut job in the corner. Right? Because he's got to be a nut job, because he's invading women's spaces and he's doing so with what he thinks is impunity and grinning like a Cheshire cat in a photograph while he does it. What are you doing, man? Get out! As a member of Kappa Kappa Gamma, Langford, who is 6'2" and weighs approximately 260 pounds, less of a member, more of an entire body, right, is granted access to the sorority house, which accommodates up to 50 women. Though Langford had been residing elsewhere at the time of the first filing, women alleged that he would frequently sit in the second floor common area and had been observed watching the women on multiple occasions. According to court records, Langford had been voyeuristically peeping on the women while they were in intimate situations, and on at least one occasion had a visible erection while doing so. Well, what a surprise. Colour me surprised. One sorority member walked down the hall to take a shower wearing only a towel. She felt an unsettling presence, turned and saw Langford watching her silently, the court document reads. Langford has, while watching members enter the sorority house, had an erection visible through his leggings, the suit says. Other times he has had a pillow in his lap. As evidenced by his Tinder profile, Langford is sexually interested in women. It was further stated in the suit that Langford took photographs of the women while at a sorority slumber party, where he is also said to have made inappropriate comments. He repeatedly questioned the women about what vaginas looked like, breast cup size, whether women were considered breast reductions and birth control, the complainant claimed. On another occasion, Langford was supposed to leave a sorority slumber party by 10 p.m. that evening, but did not, saying that he intended to leave after the women fell asleep. After singing to himself at approximately 11 p.m., Langford finally left the residence at midnight, only to return the next morning. At that time, it is stated that Langford stood silently in the corner of the room while watching other pledges change out of their sleeping garments. He was also said to have sat in the back of a sorority yoga class for an hour in December 2022 and watched the assembled young women flex their bodies. Langford has denied the allegations. Go and read it. It's on Redux. The link is in the usual places for you. For God's sake. What are you doing, man? Get out. Stop bothering women. Leave women alone. That's it. That's the message. Right? Expect more of this. Going to get worse before it gets better. But here on Turf Island, yep, time to call these filthy men out for what they are. Invaders and colonisers. Get out, you disgusting 6'2" lolliper. Go well.